X also.
Welcome to the future of finance. Are you ready to unlock your crypto potential? At Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club, we're not just a community, we're a revolution. We're a thriving community with educators that can help you get started. With clubs nationwide, your membership opens doors across the country. We can offer you no KYC Bitcoin purchases through the club. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club, where friends become family and everyone's invited to the crypto revolution. Join us today and give us a call at 562-526-0813. Your crypto adventure awaits.
And we are live. Oh my God, we're all getting so old.
I don't know why I can't hear anything.
I don't think Ken looks old. He looks like he looks the same.
He does actually.
He's older than I am.
He literally never ages.
No, I really don't think he does. His beard just changes and his hair, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't even see a gray hair actually.
I think he's actually naturally a redhead, isn't he?
Yeah. No, he is. Yeah, but no gray hair at all, which is impressive.
Yeah, he is. I don't think he can hear us.
No, I think he's working on it. Yeah.
Yep. He's like,
it might be the settings there in the program where you have to change the speaker output. I had to do that and allow access to your mic, camera, and stuff. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I'm sure he's got it.
Oh yeah, he'll actually figure it out.
Oh yeah, I mean we've all streamed for long enough. We can hear him though. Let me see. We can hear you.
So what's up, Omar?
Yeah, I don't know why my audio is not working, guys. I have to restart my computer. I have no idea.
What's up with me? Just yeah, we can chat about that stuff. I guess while we wait for Ken to show up. We're live already, right?
Yeah. We're actually live on YouTube, on X, on another YouTube.
Wow.
On Twitch.
Dang.
On
That's
Rumble.
crazy. What are you using? Like Restream?
It's a platform called StreamYard.
Oh yeah. That's where we're at right now.
It's super easy to use. Usually, if you all had it, you could actually have this on all of your platforms also, all at once.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Oh yeah. Oh, there he went. Yeah.
He froze there.
So, are you out in California?
I moved away actually. I moved in 2021 to Central Texas. Yeah, it's pretty nice here. Yeah, I managed to escape barely.
All right, can you hear us?
I just watched a YouTube video. It's not me. It's like StreamYard. I can't get audio.
You can't get audio.
That's so weird. YouTube's working. Netflix is working. I don't have the tab muted. I'll hit mute site so I can unmute site. Yeah, I'll use my phone, actually. Good call. I'll be right back. I'll use my phone instead.
Yeah, one way or another, he'll jump on here.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Where are you at?
I'm actually at our club in Nashville.
Yeah.
I have clubs in Florida, Nashville, Texas, Massachusetts, St. Louis.
Wow.
And I have a resort in El Salvador.
Dang.
Yeah,
is this this is pretty recent?
Over the last probably 3 years. And our club in there's our boy.
There we go. Now I can hear you. I hope the audio doesn't echo on you.
No, it sounds good.
No, you're good.
Cool.
What's up, Ken? Long time.
How goes it, bro?
I can't believe it. It's like, what a throwback. I feel like we're back in what, 2020, 2019?
Yeah.
Dang.
No shit.
Yeah, I haven't seen you, Ben, since like back then, and I'm pretty sure last time I saw Ken was at the Miami conference. You were hosting one there too, your shitcoin conference back in the day.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, I must have missed you, I think, Ben, or maybe I did run into you. There's so many people like back to back to run into.
Trying to set
Yeah,
the
it's we launch our club in Las Vegas, which actually Kenn is going to run our club in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I saw you guys have some shitcoin university thing coming up in Vegas, like on the 20th or something.
Yeah, now that Ben locked in the venue, I'm updating the website and everything. But yeah, we're gonna be doing shit worth learning.
Yeah, I saw that.
Shit worth learning.
It looked pretty unique. You get like a diploma. You have like the students come in at the end. There's a prom. What's the prom?
Trying to work that out with Area 15 for like the after party thing. I was at ETH Denver. Shout out to Ben and all the ETH Denver guys. We got to pop up Ben's booth and everything at the conference, and I went to trad prom. It was like a trad wife prom. And it just like that kind of inspired the whole thing from Shitcoin Conference to Shitcoin University, because I was at ETH Denver and I was at prom, and I'm like, I'm a high school dropout with a GED. I've never been to prom. This is awesome. So and Polygon had a whole booth that looked like a boys' locker room with like phone numbers written on the locker, people graffitiing all over their booth. It was kind of cool. Yeah. So that started the whole thing. So I'm reaching out to them to see if we could do like another trad wife prom in Vegas.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's exciting. Denver was a lot of fun. It definitely inspired the Shitcoin University out of Shitcoin Conference, because like I've been going to conferences forever, and every time I run into people, even if they're like working the conference, I ask them, hey, did you get into crypto? Like after 3 days working at ETH Denver as security, did you learn anything? And security's always like, no, dude, I didn't learn shit. Like this is all above my head. So we wanted to do something that people are going to walk out and actually have hands-on. Even if you don't know what you know, your thumbs are going to remember all the processes we put you through.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then like those things are definitely more techie, geeky stuff. So I would want more people to show up, like all other kinds of people to get excited about showing up. And I always hear from like Griff Green, my buddy who I interviewed recently too. You've met Griff, right?
I just interviewed him at ETH Denver again.
Nice. Yeah. And he's always trying to get me to go to ETH Denver. I just haven't made it out to that one, but he loves that conference, says it's the #1 conference, like out of all of them. So it makes sense. What you're saying right now.
It's got the most love for sure. And you got to go out to the mountains in Breckenridge and hang out with everybody in the mountains, because surviving the trip up and down that mountain is a bonding experience, because there's no guardrails, bro. You're just looking off the edge of the mountain, and sometimes the brakes don't work.
Yeah, there's something about like people being in tense situations and like this raised stress levels that like you went through something together, you could have died, and now you're trusting of each other. You're more connected than ever. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Big shout out to Bobcat.
That's it. That's exactly what our lives are in fucking cryptos.
Yeah.
You're always living on the edge of like fucking bankruptcy. You know?
No, it's like the ups and downs. Just to get this far with even like $1 left in crypto, I think is like a miracle. You hear about these scams. Just yesterday, like my stepdad called me and he's like, well, he called me and it was very vague. I was leaving the shower and he was like, hey, I just got an email. Can you check it out? Hold on. Where's the email? And like, I had it. And I was like, damn, you should have called me after you found the email. So I was like, call me back when you can. And I guess just send it to me. I didn't know what it was about. And then sure enough, it was like, I saw it, resend it to me, and it said like, oh, you're eligible for claims. The Bittrex bankruptcy is still processing. And if you haven't done it, and it had like a legitimate company, it said Omni Director Agency. Like if you look them up, it's a real bankruptcy claims company. Like that's what they do. But if you click on the website, it said like 78401-bittrex.com. I'm like, that's obviously not real. But let me just click on it. I got enough antivirus. I'm not gonna enter anything personal. Let me just click on it and see what's up. Maybe it's legit or something, even though I can't remember if he ever had a Bittrex account. But I went on there. Yeah, the spelling was legit.
Such a real OG problem. Like, did I have an account there?
Yeah, Poloniex, like Bittrex, like stuff nobody even talks about. Exactly. But I was like, I mean, I got them into it pretty like early when I got excited about it. They bought a little bit and then they sold, and they bought like just last year. Oh crap, we have $4,000 in here. Like, how do we get it out? Like, maybe you shouldn't sell all of it. Maybe you should sell like a portion of it, normal advice. But anyway, there was a link at the bottom and you click on it and it's the normal thing. All right, in order to get your distribution of funds, you need to connect your MetaMask wallet, Coinbase wallet, your this wallet, whatever. Click on one of these. I was like, okay, there's the scam right there. Enter your seed phrase.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's I can remember watching you, and when I say you, I mean Omar.
Yeah.
Dude, you were so into ETH early. I mean, you were mining it. You were in this little apartment. You were like,
yeah. I mean, like, I remember those days too. Like, you just watching, like, when I was filming and Ken was doing his stuff out of like a techie shop, fixing phones.
yeah, fucking a phone repair shop.
Yeah. I feel
I
like
was lucky my boss didn't mind me live streaming while working, because that was a break. That was very lucky. A lot of employers would not be cool, especially in this climate with the whole like social media thing. No boss would let you live stream while doing your job. So I got lucky. Shout out to Bill Slater from Quick Fix.
Yeah, no, you guys are like super in touch with like the internet and have been for a while. So I'm like curious what you guys think, because there's like this whole dead internet theory coming out, AI agents and bots everywhere, Reddit manipulating stuff, and like where's the internet headed? Like, I'm teaching little kids piano and drums and stuff, and from what I find, none of these kids are allowed to have phones or even touch phones. I'm like, yeah, I know that song from like from ZZ Top or whatever. Like, you can look it up on YouTube later for this drum beat. And he's like, I can't use YouTube. I'm like, that's good. Yeah, good
for you.
Yeah, but like, it seems like something is like breaking almost with the internet, or evolving or changing. And I don't think like the dreams of Ethereum's MetaMask browser ever blew up. So I don't see like a Web3 alternative that the mainstream is really going to get into, even though crypto, I think, is the beginning of it financially. But when it comes to actually like how we connect in communities, I think there was a little bit too much euphoria early on and how quick this would happen in adoption. And Mark Zuckerberg's going to ruin Facebook. And every day he says something stupid. Like, even now, like, everyone has 3 friends, but we want them to have 15 AI friends, right?
Yeah.
So like social media seems to be dying in a way, and it's just like trusting what you see. Every other thing is like, oh, this was written by ChatGPT. I mean, it's so obvious, right? But it's getting less obvious. Like, where do you guys see this stuff heading? And is crypto a piece of that? Like, over the next 5 years, the internet?
As I see it, and this is why I've actually launched our clubs, is I see the internet is not going to actually be as social as it was. It will actually turn into an information source more than, hey, I'm on Facebook with my friends, or hey, I'm on Instagram or something like that. I think here in about a year or two, it's just going to be a swamp of AIs and agents and marketing. And you'll have, when we were young, we had, it's like, wow, we got basic cable. We got 37 channels. This is amazing. Well, now you have 180 million channels that you can choose from. You have YouTube, you have X Live, you have all these sources of entertainment, education. And I think the way AI is going to change everything is you won't really use the internet except for maybe X, where everyone gets on and just basically shit talks. But other than that, I think that we're going to revert to what we really value is each other and actually hanging out with other humans.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Ken?
That's where I see, because when you have an overload of information, and the web is just like not really a shithole. It's just there's so much to choose from that you don't really want to choose. And I think a lot of people are just going to go, fuck it, I'm going to the bar. You know,
Yeah.
I'm heading to the club. I'm going to talk with some crypto people.
No,
Well,
that
now
rem-
that things are
gonna learn about
recreational, they're just going to go
shitcoin.
to a dispensary. This generation is drinking less than any generation before it because of recreational dispensaries. So just want to say shout out to the generation for not drinking and driving.
yeah.
Amen,
Yeah.
brother. Smoke it up and fucking hop on your scooter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right. Oh
Yeah,
man,
but
even like sober in Venice on those little scooters, it's like easy to hit a rock and go flying.
yeah, that's what I was like. I wouldn't smoke and scoot. That is dangerous.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Like nothing
But
serious.
as far as me, man, my perspective on it is we have to age out. The generation that grew up with the horse and buggy, they didn't get into the car. They died and their kids got the car. You know what I mean? And I think that we're looking at that technological precipice of that generational moment where those who are so tied to a way that society is inclined to progress, they need to expire. They can't hold that ideology any longer. We are living longer. We're dying at older ages as far as like a society goes. We have people in positions of power that are far exceeding their own social like interactions. There are people that are, in their 80s and 90s that are, holding down places of power that don't go outside and haven't been outside for 20 years. So they don't know how society functions, but they're controlling the way in which society has to function. I think that when we see us, our generation, the kids that were born in like the 80s, the 90s, once we're no longer in charge of regulations and laws and stuff like that, I think the generation that's growing up with their main focus on like valuing V-Bucks and Fortnite skins and these digital assets as we tokenize real world assets, we're building the infrastructure for the next generation. We're like 1% world adoption on Bitcoin. That's just because we're futurists. We can see what the future will be for the next generation. We are very expensive beta testers. We're paying to be in the Peachtree dish, but once I'm dead, I am fully like I am sure that my great grandson's generation will be a Web3 dominant generation, just as we read our news on the internet instead of the newspaper. I think the next generation will look for that Web3 verified source, proof of human, whether it is AI taking over the swamp of the internet and, garbage in, garbage out. There are already echo feedbacks from AI. Once they talk to each other for a few conversations, the echo feedback from holding like a phone to a phone, that high pitched squeal, it's garbage in, garbage out. And it has the AI saying things that are hysterical, hallucinations. So I think
Yeah, like the
people
latest
growing up
models
with
are
it.
even worse at hallucinations. You'd think that they would be
Yeah.
focusing that, and 04 is supposedly worse than 03.
Yeah, so the next generation is going to be the one that's going to be like, yeah, Web3, if I want to post something, I'm going to earn for it. I want it to be verified that it came from my fingers, not some AI. And there will be a battle of like, the dead internet theory. Like, I think that will be a war. And I think that
Yeah.
because it can be targeted from like governments, like China could use all their smartphone bots to attack whatever they wanted to, DDoS or with AI garbage in, garbage out. They could use their smartphones in China to make kids in America learn 2 + 2 = fish.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. You brought up both of you guys brought up a lot of good points, and like just today we were hearing that, or was it yesterday? WorldCoin like finally launched Sam Altman's project.
Yeah, what the hell?
I mean, it makes sense in a kind of way. Like people don't get it in a way. I get where he's coming from, which is like what Ken was just saying about like verifying if somebody's human. So you go in there, they scan your eyeballs, they steal all your data, but hey, you have a card that says like if you use that key in any interaction online, you're talking to a real person. But in a way, I don't think that even verifies it.
No, it doesn't, because what
you
would
could always
stop
run an
me from
agent.
having a plug-in third party where it's log in with WorldCoin and then I can let some bot pay me to use my account to, anything's monetizable.
I can't see how it could be fixed. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
massive
and
problem.
it really is, as you said, Ken. It's generational. You know, hell, I'm fucking 50 years old now, and although there's huge advancements in longevity and all that, it's who knows, I may live another, I don't know, maybe 50, 75 years, but those are the old years. You know, that's where I'm losing relevancy in the global, you know, world, because the youngers will have energy, they'll have ideas. And I mean, if you look at like I saw an 18-month-old child playing with an iPad,
Yeah.
knowing what to do with it.
Intuitively, like they were like it's in the DNA. Like, you know,
Mhm.
if when you see two sticks, you know, you could rub them together to get fire because your ancestors did it for so many generations. You hand a kid an iPad, it almost feels inherent.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
like
I
I
think. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, well, you could finish if you had something else you were gonna
Oh,
finish up.
I really just wanted to say is in the future, what will actually make humans valuable is they're human. And exactly what you guys said, you know, proof of human is the future currency is human attention.
It makes me wonder, like, people, have you heard of like these zombie people apparently that might exist? Like, apparently there's been this narrative for a while, or possible conspiracy theorists, although it's really just like a mind exercise, which is like, how, if we can't prove that we're conscious, and I can't prove that you're conscious, maybe some of us are conscious and some of us are just zombies that actually have no conscious or qualia for real. They can just pretend to have it. And it's kind of like, we've always judged whether, or like, oh, that person's a reptile or that person's a demon,
It's like
right?
consciousness sociopaths.
Yeah, in a kind of way. Yeah, like this
That's
idea.
I kind of
Oh,
never
hell,
thought
I
of
think
something like that. It's interesting.
that's like my
Yeah.
ex-wife.
Yeah, like you probably question if she's human. No, I'm kidding.
I am, therefore I am. At least I know I'm conscious.
Yeah, I like to think you guys are conscious. No, but yeah, going back to like this generational thing you were talking about, Ben, is like I was watching one of these videos why this like recent generation is effed. I don't know if I can curse on this show or not. I try
No,
not
no,
to.
brother, fuck off. Yeah,
All
you
right,
can.
cool. Yeah, but like, and it was talking about how like the boomers, it was great. We had just won the war, like had a lot to look forward to. They were optimistic about life, low depression rates. And then we got to the Generation Xers. Like they thought maybe in the future something might be better for them. They were hopeful. Then we got to millennials who were like, you know, we believed the lie also. Things were great. But the recent generation just acknowledges that nothing is gonna look great for them. So you have these huge rates of depression, anxiety, but at the same time, it's like maybe that's just the pharmaceutical companies issuing more diagnosis to get more money. That's what they do. So it's just like we get all these narratives, marketing based, of course, and money based from all these different angles, that it's just difficult to know what's what, which is what makes it cool to hang out with you guys, because you guys are having different sets of experiences than I am, have, you know, and you know what you're doing in this space. So I'm super interested what you guys think about like the internet and crypto in particular, having been around for so long. Like, when did you get into crypto, Ben?
Late 2016 is when I first actually made the original purchase.
Yeah.
I learned about it over 2015, 2016, but I didn't really buy in until late 2016.
Yeah. And you can even before that, right? I think.
Yeah, it was like December 2015. I bought my first Bitcoin, and by January 2016, I was an influencer and on crypto Twitter. You know, I jumped in. I never had a Twitter account until I got into Bitcoin because there was nowhere else to talk about it. And then
Yeah.
I saw your videos, Trevon James from the whole BitConnect era,
Trevon
those days.
James.
So I watched you, him. I reached out to Ivan on Tech and Box Mining to see if they wanted to join us as well today. They just, you know how Facebook or DMs are, you know, people probably
Yeah.
check mine once a week, so I ain't going to blame
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
But
same.
I invited them, and Yeah, man, just got in 2016. I wrote an article. I still don't know what a Bitcoin is, but I own one.
I remember like I had bought it like what 2015 because like very early, just because of the deep web. Like I wanted to, oh, you can buy drugs online. I gotta try this. This is cool.
I
And then
get some
lost it on.
weed.
Yeah, I just bought enough to like cover the transaction. But in the process, I was like, this sucks. You have to wait for confirmation. And I was like, I thought it was only 10 minutes I had to wait. Why am I waiting 50
Yeah.
minutes? Because I didn't realize you had to get so many
I feel
confirmations.
blessed that I had such a good introduction to Bitcoin because like I used purse.io like right away. Like it was saving me like 50% every single time I bought anything on Amazon. So
Yeah, I
my
remember that.
mom, my brother, everybody, my boss where I was working at to fix phones, he would give me money to buy stuff on Amazon for the store, and I'm just saving 50% because I'm using Bitcoin. So like to me, that was like, all right, this is cool money.
Yeah, and so many different like examples of how it's cool money. But like this idea of like, okay, you got in like 2016, you started a show, you blew up. Bitcoin Ben, you got pretty popular as well yourself, like early
Yeah.
on, right after starting. And it was the same for me. As long as you were like disciplined and persistent and kept uploading, like, and you were favored by the algo before they started kind of shutting down things. And then it was just like constant attacks. It became impossible almost for me to blow up, like losing
Yeah.
a Facebook group, Instagram. Just yesterday, like a new Instagram, like my third or fourth one. I don't even care to blow it up anymore. I'm just like 500 close friends on there. I think I like added you recently. And like I got a notification just opening up Instagram, totally normal. Haven't done anything funny at all. And it was just like our program, our software has detected that you are possibly using like AI or you're using spamming stuff. I was like not even liking or being weird. I was like, oh, this is just like some other shadow banning thing to remove my account again.
Yep.
This is why I don't care. So yeah, after you've been destitute long enough, you have to find other means that don't rely on these platforms, which is why people like flock to Steam or Hive, Steam it, or
Steam
Hive.
it.
Yeah, like ways that you cannot be censored, or Rumble. Like Rumble has been around since I think 2013. It's been around forever. But like,
I'm a big fan of in person, man. Like that's
Yeah.
why I go to all the conferences. You can't ban me, you can't censor me, and even if I am, I'll meet you in the lobby. I'll be in the parking lot. I'm at the
Yep.
conferences.
Yeah, I applied to go to the CoinDesk one, even though they kicked me out of their conference one time, and Box Mining. We both got kicked out.
I
for live
remember
streaming.
that.
Yeah, but I applied as a press pass with like my measly like 4,900 subscribers, and they approved it. Except I thought it was
Nice.
going to be in the US. Yeah, it's in Canada. On,
Are
like,
you
the
going?
25th. Nah, it's in Canada
Oh.
on the 25th. I'm like, that's too soon.
I'm going. I'll be there.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah,
there were some
man. I
great
told you I'm
speakers.
going to all the conferences.
Dang, that's so cool.
I'm
But yeah,
speaking at Futurist the day before Consensus, and then CoinDesk still follows me on X, which is like insane to me because the way and reason in which they started following me, I can't even disclose publicly. If you want to talk about it off air, I'll tell you why CoinDesk follows me. But I'm just like, they're still DGen bros. They invited me to Toronto, so yeah, I'll be there as well.
Yeah, I have a feeling like some of their staff changed and they just like weren't around. That's honestly what I think.
I can't say why, dude, because I don't think it's the same dude.
This crypto guy, yeah, approve. He looks legit. Yeah, why not? Nobody else is coming to Canada. I was like, no, but then I saw like the actual guest list. I was like, damn, nah, that conference looks sick. So I'm sure you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah,
but,
I'm excited.
Yeah, man. I like this fragmentation though, like the fact that we got kind of blown up because we were like some of the only content creators because we believed, had gumption. Maybe we were kind of broke at the time, and this was like one of the only ways that we're like, you know, this is a potential for our generations, ours and afterwards, to make some money because we became aware of inflation, which the world is waking up to now. But like now there's so many places you can go to, like you were saying, Ben, about like TV channels, 37 channels. Now you can get like thousands of channels at least, and that's just like regular mainstream channels. So I feel like the places that we get information from are increasingly distant and disparate from like even the person that you live with, and and that's driving us further apart and making it easier to isolate us and put us in our own little echoed walled gardens of AI. But I think that's dangerous. Like this in-person thing is super important. I do agree with that.
Yep, that is why I've launched all of these clubs, because number one, the best brand in the world is actually Bitcoin, because it is decentralized, and especially right now, everyone has heard of it, hardly anyone knows jack shit about it. And it's one of the largest brands, and it is the most powerful network in the world. And I mean, we have Trump, we have the US government looking to purchase Bitcoin. Could you imagine what price we would have hit in 2017 if someone would have said, hey, Trump's buying Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's true, man.
But I do.
I'm waiting for them to announce. I think the investing and all that's cool, but I'm waiting for them to announce the investment in infrastructure. Because once the government gets involved in mining and nodes and a government issued lightning channel for government mandated channel transactions, like, oh, if you want to use Bitcoin, you can use Bitcoin, but you have to use the USD government lightning channel because we need to get transaction fees from this. I'm excited for that conversation, which I think they're holding back on intentionally because they do know that, even back 10 years ago, if China bans Bitcoin, unbans Bitcoin, 5 years ago, China bans Bitcoin, unbans Bitcoin, it's market manipulation. I think since Trump has surrounded himself with so many crypto savvy people, we're going to see like a more of a CZ kind of rollout of how these announcements come. There's going to be very well organized announcements for that strategic reserve that they're investing in so they can pump their own bags. They don't want to make Bitcoin go up before they're done buying it.
Yeah.
And actually they announced last week that if you run a mining house or whatever you call it, mining
Farm.
like warehouse or whatever, that they will help you actually build a power source right next to it. Like they will green light you, and they're literally talking about you can use whatever power source you want. If you're down in Texas, you use like flared, gas. If and they're even approving nuclear, which are smaller plants, not the huge ones. But I think they said one phase 4 nuclear plant will run up to 100,000 frigging what are they? What do you call fuck the miners?
I was like, what is he saying?
Yeah, like rigs, like kind of thing.
Yeah, the rigs.
Yes. Like a bunch of rigs. Yeah, I would imagine it's not just like
100,000 of them.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard anything about Bitmain in Texas? I remember like 5 years ago, I think that they bought the Bitmain, a Chinese company, bought property in Texas to open a Bitcoin mining farm run by a Chinese company in America. It was like the first time that ever happened. But then like nothing, I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Bitmain has tried to stay more low key because of their chips, and they were in the
they're refusing interviews at conferences. They literally refuse interviews. They will not do interviews. They don't do press. They don't talk to press. I was like, these dudes are crazy. Damn. Like that's to me that was weird because they had like $100,000 booth at a conference and they didn't want to talk to press.
Yeah, they're just getting the word out there. Yeah, no, I remember like you could go to any conference and talk to anybody that you felt like, and then slowly the corporatization of crypto came in, and then it was like, no, you got to talk to the secretary and maybe schedule an appointment, and then we're gonna need to know the questions you're gonna ask in advance. I was like, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it became less fun to go for interviews, except like you're gonna get like the shillers of small projects that are just trying to get rich, that are trying to get interviews and stuff. But like the people you want to talk to, the visionaries, the futurists or whatever, became increasingly difficult to access, especially for somebody who's like a new content creator. I imagine it would be even more difficult. So that kind of bummed me out, since it was all about decentralization. I thought this was kind of a decentralizing of information and
open source.
Yeah, it was a kind of open source way of operating that was to me really cool. But that changed too. And I wonder about, like, since you guys, I mean, we're talking about hypotheticals here, and you consider yourself people who think further down the line. Are you worried at all about like centralization though, like of nodes here in the United States? Like China right now is like too slow, I feel like, but they're ahead when it comes to things like fusion energy. So if they decided to, you know, if they did get that out there and they decided to start Bitcoin mining, they could have a huge influence in the amount of nodes and the network power. And you could see similarly here in the United States first. So like, we had individual node battles over what they think would be a good hard fork for Bitcoin. But what if we all had to follow America Bitcoin? And like that would, I think, take away from the brand of Bitcoin if it wasn't something that I think everyone had a say in around the world.
Yeah, I don't really worry about that because it's I'm in it for the freedom of it all. You know, I had no problems when Roger was all like, you know, big blocks and all that shit. I don't care, bro. You know, if that's what you and your group want, run with it, hard fork it. I don't give a fuck. And whichever coin is the largest utility, whichever one the people use, that's fine. It's I don't care if everyone uses Bitcoin.
I guess the problem is like,
people.
what makes me think about it is like USDC, like they're so influential now on Ethereum that makes my investment thesis in Ethereum like more difficult. Now that you have Circle processing so much and working with the major exchanges, and every other exchange, yeah, can't operate. You can't afford the legal costs anymore and the compliance and anything. So you basically have to be the Coinbases of the world and Krakens of the world in order to really stay on top of here, or Binance or whatever it is. So I just think about like, what if there was some sort of hard fork scenario? And sorry, USDC is only going to be on this node approved coin that has censorship and can blacklist people. And we're pretty much back at what we were trying to fight, which is the Fed eventually issuing us dollars and being able to blacklist us. So that's something that worries me a little bit.
I get worried about whitelisted addresses and blacklisted coins and stuff like that. That is something that does concern me. But I think just like if you go to get a tattoo or you go to the bar or wherever, like small businesses, if you pay with cash, you don't have to pay tax. There's still going to be those people that are going to break that law or rule to do what they want, like Ben said, with the whole freedom side of thing. But having this tool, it makes breaking that rule or law so easy that I'm not worried about the regulations or like stuff like that, but I am worried about repercussions where like, you know, they can't stop us from doing this, but if you get caught doing it, it's going to be way worse. Like in Portugal, every drug's legal, but if you get caught selling it, you're going to get in way more trouble than you used to before it was legal. Like the repercussions are outweighing the recourses. So I'm just wondering, or not worrying about like small businesses being like, you know, the first through the door, and like whose pizza store is going to get raided by like the FBI or whatever 3-letter agency for accepting Bitcoin from unwhitelisted addresses or something.
Yeah,
Well,
good point.
I think over the next 3.5 years that this is going to grow so large that all of the local governments, all of the federal governments, Russia, even China will bend a knee to the Bitcoin, because we especially with Trump, the federal government, Wyoming, Texas, everyone is doing a reserve right now, or getting it all lined up to actually do a reserve. Eventually, it's so large that who in the hell is going to go against it? I mean, it's
too profitable to go with the flow of Bitcoin. You're 100% right, especially from a government's perspective. They could profit way more by contributing to the ecosystem than they could by setting guys up with guns outside of every house and holding a gun to your wife's head and say, if you don't give me your private keys, we're going to kill everybody. Like, that's kind of what they did with gold. They went door to door in America and said, hey, how much gold do you have? We just want to keep you safe in case shit hits the fan. Shit hit the fan and the government came and stole all the gold you told them you had. I have a feeling the same thing could happen with Bitcoin, except they know no matter what, people most likely would burn their private keys before they would let the government have access to them.
It's interesting that you were talking about these businesses, like which would be the first pizza place to get raided or something like that. But in a way, like you guys are super brave. We're all like pioneers because you have to kind of be a martyr, I feel like, in crypto to like you're putting
Roger
yourself.
Ver is an example, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have countless names
Yeah,
now like out there.
he's fucked.
Yeah, he's fucked.
Yeah.
I feel so. He's fucked for paying his taxes. Like literally, he proved my point. Like,
Yeah.
Yes. Why is he going to jail for not
Because they got to set an
paying the
example.
government?
He lost the lottery ticket. But that's the thing about being loud too, I realized. And I was like, I don't want my like digital footprint as big as it was. Like I was like, oh, I want to be a rich and famous actor growing up, you know? And like as I've gotten older, I realized just how fucked Hollywood is, having lived there 7 years. And just everything else is fucked. And it's just like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna turn off the computer and go touch grass kind of thing.
Yeah, but your acting skills are dope, bro. Every time I see one of your clips, man, even early on when I was at your house and you were showing me, bro, you
Thanks,
got
man.
the talent. You should.
I did theater. I was just trying to study film,
but I don't want to push you into a limelight. But you should definitely be on TV, brother.
Thanks, bro. I mean, we were on TV. We were on YouTube, man. It's better than TV.
No, but I mean, like you're a convincing character actor. Like you can definitely play a part. I don't know, like when people are like you know, playing around and whatever, like improving, it comes off cringe, and yours is just so like natural. I'm not trying to toot. I'm just saying, guys, Omar's a really good. You should be in movies, bro.
Well, it was just like studying it like hardcore. It's a craft.
Like I could tell you were studying exactly.
Like acting is a reality of doing. So you literally think the thought, like you said something, or you have the line, obviously, but you got to fill in the space between the lines with the thoughts. So like that made it difficult to watch movies for a long time. Once you study it enough, then you're just like, oh, what was that thought that he thought, and then this thought, and then you're just like not enjoying movies.
Yeah.
So
that's such. Yeah, I never thought of it like that. Once you know behind the scenes, and you kind of see it. Like I did construction for like 6 years, so when I look at a house and I see like the doors kind of crooked, I see the house differently. I'm like, wait, the siding doesn't even match the way the sun sets and the sun rises. Like they should have put it on differently.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I'm just having fun vibing with music now, like being able to pass that forward. Like I get joy knowing that, like, I don't know, it felt like a lot of the stuff, like the advice I try to give people in crypto, a lot of people just wipe their butt with it. And you internalize it. You start to feel it gets to you like moment after moment. People just saying you're chilling
people
stuff.
Pay you tens of thousands of dollars for your advice and you see them not fucking listen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Basically, yeah. Plenty of people did though, so don't get me wrong. It was worth it to help some people, but then like some people got hurt because they just didn't have the experience or security or anything else. And you can talk about it all day, but people will still lose money to scams. And most people just want the quick buck. But like at the end of the day, like we got into some nitty-gritties here about like nodes and centralized and hard forks and this stuff and getting rated. But at the end of the day, the same thing that I think you guys probably invested in it, the same narrative still exists, which is like this thing keeps growing. M2 money supply continues to grow month over month. I was just checking May. Yeah, it was growing. And that I still believe, like, have you guys seen like Colin Talks Crypto and what he's been doing recently? Yeah, like just basically following with either a 75-day or 108-day, I believe, is offset of when money supply grows or drops and Bitcoin's price lagging behind that by that many days. And so it looks like we're about to see a massive boom. Like that's what I'm thinking. But there's also the other side of me that's like sell in May and go away. And here we are in May. Like, are we going back to 60?
Been in an official bull run. That's why I'm wearing my bull run, coming soon shirt. Because we have not been in a bull market. The past couple of years has been a new spontaneous market. We've had crypto altcoins, we had shit coins, then we had NFTs had their moment, and now we're having meme coin moment. This is just an unprecedented run. The bull market is about to start. This is what people are thinking they're seeing the past like 2 years. Even like a year, people are like, oh, 2024 is like it was nothing.
Yeah, I think like
just a spontaneous outbreak for shit coins.
I used to call it like sloshing, I think, early on. Like, yeah, Bitcoin got the money first. This was like in 2017 when I was making the show. Like, Bitcoin gets a flood of money first because of happening, but then that money tries to seek exposure elsewhere. So then it was going to go into Ethereum and Litecoin and all these other things.
Yeah, where do you think all these shit coins, market caps are going to go in a couple weeks? They're not going to sit in these racist, anti-Semitic, all these ugly things. Like they're holding hundreds of millions of dollars in these just ridiculous, disgusting shit coins. And I'm just, looking at Solana alone, dude, it's like I'm looking at Solana as like $2,000 this time next year because all the shitty shit coins that are diluting the market cap. It's just like what happened with Ethereum and all the ICOs. Ethereum was being diluted because of $100,000 ICO token launches. Now it costs $10 on Solana.
Now it's being diluted in a different way, I guess you could say, because of L2s. Like let's just all go to L2. We don't need the base token. We buy it once, and at the end, and we just.
What are your guys' thoughts on these L2s, L3s, and probably L4s and pyramids?
It really is people doing people shit. You know, it's
humans humaning.
We're all experimenting, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's if there's a way that someone can launch a shit coin on top of another shit coin that originates off of a fork of a shit coin, they're going to do it if there's profit in it. And that's just how we are, though. I mean, we are some of the most creative assholes ever because we have greed, but we have greed in there is ethical greed, and then there's just fuck it, I'm gonna fuck everybody greed. And it's
we'll call that ignorant greed. We have ethical and ignorant greed, and Omar's been the Ethereum evangelist since the ICO. So I wanted to ask you what you thought about the layer 2s and 3s, like especially when it comes to like Ethereum scaling. We all survived ETH 2.0. That was a nightmare. I mean, there was like 80% of dApps and DAOs that completely failed when ETH scaled from 1.0 to 2.0. And Justin Sun from Tron gave like hundreds of millions of dollars to people to build on Tron because they couldn't rebuild on Ethereum when it updated.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on these level 2 and 3 infrastructures being built on a beta network? It's not, it's still in beta.
Yeah, no, it's definitely changed. Like, I think we should be able to change, and I still hold primarily ETH. As far as an ETH evangelist, I've struggled with that since like 2021. I guess after proof of stake, like I definitely have struggled a little bit with it. I think part of it is, I think it's going to take some time. Like layer 2 networks, we're getting more and more of them. Just another one today that was like open source, no pre-mine kind of thing came out. I was just reading about in the Ethereum community that folks are getting behind, but at the same time, it's like, again, fragmenting us, and that takes away, I think, power like from one individual network. I mean, there'll obviously be interoperability, but I think ultimately, like in the long run, I would imagine just like Circle has been adopted on some exchanges, you'll see a very popular layer 2 network. I don't think that it'll benefit Ethereum greatly when it comes to fees for a long time. So like, I think it'll struggle through that, but still has that brand recognition. It's decentralized, regardless of what you like might hear a lot on like X or anywhere else. It's like next to Bitcoin, the most decentralized thing. I don't think it stands right next to it at all, but there is something about it that I think is going to draw the narrative more than like, oh, let's get in the US based projects like Solana that Trump is getting behind, or Ripple or whatever.
That is way more centralized.
It's more centralized. Yeah. So I think decentralized is important. So like, I still believe in that.
But then you mentioned interoperability, and how can we get to interoperability without a standard of protocol? That can only be done through centralization.
Maybe. I mean, there's open source developers who can push these things out and make them work between each other. But at the same time, some people have more clout in the community, especially like as we don't trust other humans, we trust the ones that we know exist. That's a big thing too. So I was like, I definitely want to continue to have my community on YouTube, because people will have a source that they know they're listening to a real person versus one of these AI summary things. But I don't think it's dying. In fact, I think Ethereum looks like it's wants to get going, but it's looked like that for a while. We're still like less than $2,000 as far as the price. I do believe that price matters. It does drive most people to get into that, and we just need to see what they're doing. But most people, I think, are not ready for layer 2 networks, so they need these centralized providers to help them do that, which is why I don't think Lightning Network has really been adopted in a huge way. Nobody, you could argue and look at like little nitty gritty numbers, but if you go to the average person down the street, they might have heard of Bitcoin. Lightning Network, I don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
Dude,
We're getting
that's
to these
so
channels.
true.
Yeah, and so I don't think we're gonna see that in our like generations, and
No.
I don't think we'll
We
even
will
see it.
die off before that comes around.
Yeah, maybe
Well,
people who are being born today, like maybe.
Well, that conversation could come up if the government does announce a government-issued Lightning channel, which I think they have had on the conversation. I mean, if they're talking
Yeah.
about having a reserve of this much in an asset, they have to understand the technology. It's not like they don't know what's in crude oil before they start buying crude oil. They do some research. So I'm imagining in about 4 years, when Trump does leave office, that's when we're going to start hearing about like infrastructure investments and stuff like that. Because as president, he's not going to be able to invest in the infrastructure things that he's going to want to set up. And he's a
But
business
his kids
person.
are.
He's a businessman. He's an individual. He is not a country, and he's going to want that right to invest. So in about 3 years, we're probably going to see government issued Lightning channels, government mining facilities, government nodes for transactions through like government channels like DMV or the post office or whatever.
You know, I hope so, because like I always hoped that crypto would be the thing to take away politics, right? That's why I called myself a crypto anarchist for such a long time.
Crypto got me
even
into politics, man. I hate it.
No, I hate it. I hate it. But like, I think about like this administration leaving, next administration. Like that's part of the reason that I think we can't bet in one general direction, even what Trump is doing, because anybody else could just kind of reverse what he's doing. Ultimately, in the long term, I think things will continue down the trajectory of the most decentralized options kind of win. But like, yeah, unfortunately, it did become a partisan issue where you saw one side kind of like Operation Chokehold, and then you saw the other side like embracing it. And it shouldn't be like that, because if we really all care about not just Americans but humans, and we should be embracing this if you've done any level of homework. So like you guys are talking about, it's just ignorance. I think that ignorance continues to play through, especially if you have money. You don't need money, you just want power. And Bitcoin kind of takes away your power. It takes away your power to seize as easily or disrupt people's flow of money as easily. And that is something that I think is like coming to a head right now. Like I was thinking about like China, right? Like all these tariffs and everything blowing up. I think the world hasn't caught on to what I think the politicians and bankers and like futurists and people who are really tapped in realize is coming. Like looking at shipping, it takes 45 days or 2 weeks to get to either New York or California from China. And so we still had ships coming in that left before the tariffs kind of went into place. But now, like, what happens when Americans are hungry? We have the Second Amendment, right? Like, it's a dangerous place to be, is what you're hearing. But maybe, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I don't see us running out of food. We got a fuck ton of food. I think we're gonna run out of Nike before we run out of Dr. Pepper. You know. And
yeah, I
we
mean,
ain't gonna have many avocados. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just found out that there were black, green, and red avocados. I was like, what?
We're so poor, we only knew of one color avocado.
Yeah, I mean, the ones I've seen are black on the outside and green on the inside, but I don't know. Yeah. So like thinking about this, like, why is this going on? People are saying either he's doing it to bring back manufacturing, which I actually think like it would work against that, because we have robots coming out and AI. So it'll actually displace us quicker. Fine, let's just bring it on quicker to what's already coming. So on one hand, it's that. But on the other hand, I think it's more like war. Like, what if China does what they've wanted to do, which is invade Taiwan for their chip, and their chips cannot be shipped here, right? But let's say that they did, and well, it would give us an opportunity to, you know, we would have to go to war with China. Like we hear that all the time. But like by decoupling from them, our manufacturing and everything else, it would be easier to start a war. And it might be a necessary one. Who knows? For human rights issues or something else. Like, any thoughts around that? Like, what could be the real motive behind these tariffs and what's going on here?
Well, a couple of months ago, I was actually at Trump's house at Mar-a-Lago.
Nice.
And I can tell you now, this is larger than what people really wrap their heads around.
Mm-hmm.
He's not worried about tariffs. He is changing the global system. He's rolling. His number one goal is get rid of the Federal Reserve. That's his number one goal, because he like us, he realizes that without their currency, they have no power. That's why he's actually partnered with everyone over at Tether, and he flew out and hung out with Brian Armstrong personally. And because I think Trump is working with these private issuers of stable coins to replace the Federal Reserve holding our treasuries with people like Tether holding our treasuries, because China don't want them, Russia sure the fuck don't want them, and the Federal Reserve is now in a place where they're replaceable. Tether is so much more efficient than the Federal Reserve, and they basically do the same thing. They purchase treasuries and they print up a shit dollar. Except Tether holds a shit ton of fucking Bitcoin with it. And so who would you trust more in a whether or not they're actually capitalized? Would you trust Tether, who holds a shit ton of Bitcoin, or do you trust the Federal Reserve that holds a bunch of treasuries?
Well, it's traditionally been this appeal to like institution, like people have trusted institutions. This economist went to university, got a PhD, so he knows what he's doing, and you're a dummy who studied theater. And so like, you know, you appeal to experts, right? So like for a long time, I feel like older generations have trusted these institutions that have stood the test of time. But like every day it feels like I'm excited to read the headlines, like what the hell is going on here? It's almost
well,
like
those experts at the institutions got us into a $30 trillion debt. And it only makes sense as like from a government's perspective, who has a money issuer that's not government issued, it's a private business, make them the fall guy. So if we could abolish the Federal Reserve, we may be able to forego and forget that $30 trillion debt that we've incurred, because it's not our fault. It's that private business that fucked up, and who's to blame? Them. So let's hang the Federal Reserve and forgive that $30 trillion debt. Let's all start over with this stable coin thing, and we'll figure out that debt that we talked about. Like, we'll just forget about it. Forget about yours, forget about mine. Let's just all forget about debt. We'll start over. It's that guy's fault. And I think that the Federal Reserve has always and intentionally have been the fall guy for the debt of the government. And now we're just going to see that play out. Like, this is it. They're going to hang the fall guy.
Yeah, I think like it's obvious that they can't do much, right? Like they're stuck. They have to inflate here or there, and their credibility is going away. And maybe that's what Trump's doing here with this 4D move. Maybe he's trying to get ahead of it. The fact that the dollar will not be what people accept to send us basically free goods, right? Like we printed money,
they're going to choose anything but the dollar. They made the petro irrelevant in a global conversation when it comes to commerce. The petro is null and void now. Much rather make a shitcoin up, provide liquidity to it, send me that shitcoin, I'll dump the liquidity, and then I'll have my money. Now we can do supply and goods. Like, that's what's going to happen. That makes more sense than using the petro.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the euro, it's all of these global fucking printed out of nowhere fucking currencies that aren't really pegged to anything except human labor, which, as we know, is slavery.
It is weird that we accept dollar for Bitcoin when it's considered hard money, and we're Bitcoiners, so we know, like, the Federal Reserve money printer go burr, but every Bitcoin miner I've ever met would prefer to have dollars over Bitcoin.
Yeah, because what we still use. It's what we still use day to day, right?
So weird that it's like to be like aware of the matrix and also just like eat the steak and enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, like at like the company level, for sure, you have like shareholders, and you have to liquidate in order to cover expenses. So then that might incur other fees and tax obligations. So like it might make sense in some cases to accept dollars, but you're not really a Bitcoin mining company.
Well,
That's like these companies accepting Bitcoin and immediately liquidating and being like, yeah, we accept Bitcoin now, and then they immediately
it's
convert it
so
to
weird.
dollars. I'm like, ugh.
Well, the whole accepting dollars thing, they have a gun to their head. If they don't take the dollar, the trigger gets pulled, and it's a game of Russian roulette, regulation roulette.
Yeah, and I can testify because of the clubs and the resorts and stuff is it's very hard to show a profit and loss if you're showing it in actual Bitcoin, because 98% of the world wants to see how much US dollar you made. The rest of us are like, dude, how much Bitcoin are you holding? Well, the rest of the world's like, fuck that magic internet money, at least for now, and show me what your profit and loss is. And I myself, as an owner operator of several mini clubs now, I am forced to hold at least $500,000 in operating income every month. So it's
Yeah.
as much as I don't want to hold it in dollars, you have to, because unfortunately the guy I rent from, he doesn't take Bitcoin. The electric company doesn't take Bitcoin yet.
Yeah, it's
Hell,
the
I
reality
had
of
to
it.
purchase this. I can't buy it with Bitcoin right down the road if there's an emergency or something. Now, mind you, I use the fuck out of how Jesus, like Fold and shit like that, but there's only so much you can do when you're running that large of an operation.
Yeah. As a side note, what do you guys think about like Palantir? Like they got this huge contract with the government, and then they're basically just trying to serve. They have like the leading technology to surveil us, and literally want to root for war. If you hear the CEO, like he wants his company to be the one that you go to if you need somebody killed. And they're operating in the United States, and it just seems like such an affront to free speech. Like we see that on so many different levels. Like today, Monero probably like privacy coins, and EU just got announced by like next year they're going to be banned completely. So like it just seems like as a human, our freedoms are getting taken away, and so like what
even
do we
in
do?
America, if you don't have a real ID, you're not going to be able to fly domestically anymore. Like if your driver's license will not get you on an airplane next month, and I think.
I don't think they even need it though, because as soon as you walk into an airport, they've already scanned you with every
but that's
camera.
the point though. They're just forcing you go through the hoop of the real ID, and that's social credit score on chain right there. That's
It's
what's
like an
happening with
obedience
real
thing.
ID.
It's like an obedience thing. Like
It
I
is.
feel like the fact that you have to show an ID at all at the airport is kind of like just to play the game and to pay the right fees to the right people. And to keep
You know
the right
what?
people
I'll expose the game because I paid to play. I gave them like $500 to get TSA pre-check, and now I don't have to take my shoes off, my jacket. I just walk through the airport like my dad runs it or something. It's weird. And people always give me a side eye because they're like, why am I taking my shoes off? But that homeless guy can just walk right through the airport. And
I missed your big like robes and coats and really fantastic stuff.
But I just
you have less marketing on you today, by the way.
Just walk in, right?
Yeah, I was expecting like 500 logos on you, but I only see like 2 right now.
I'm all covered up.
There we go. There we go.
Oh yeah, Dash.
Sorry.
Still got the diamond hands.
Ooh, yeah, nice.
It's I watched I have been hooked on learning AI lately. I watched how I think it's AT&T has AI running it over its network, and it literally, if you have an AT&T iPhone or an AT&T Android or something like that, that they can you don't need an ID anymore. They know who the fuck you are. They know what Uber you're driving in, how
Yeah,
fast the
I was watching
Uber's
like one of these
going.
murder cases on like YouTube of the police footage, like they have camera and stuff, and they literally found exactly where the guy was next to the lake when he tried to hide the axe and the
Yeah.
cameras, even though he claimed to have called from inside the house. Like, no, they knew exactly to the dot where you were. by
Oh,
just
wait till
getting that.
everybody's wearing these Ray-Ban smart glasses and
Or other
they
people,
forget
right?
they're
Or other
wearing them
people.
and commit crimes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
right.
I saw a thing on a ring you wear now, and the ring, it, it the advertising is, oh, it checks your heart rate, and it really, like, if you're exercising and what's crazy is it learns your frequency.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've
And it
been trying to like
mimics
figure
your
out like
frequency.
our brain waves is the new thing.
Yes.
I think the next generations of smartphones are going to have technology in them that will read your brain waves while you're doing activities to subtly manipulate us, like with advertisements, of course, and whatever.
Well,
but
yeah, if they could make the advertisement a tuning fork to you, it'd be a
Right,
resonant
right.
frequency.
yeah, so that's like I
That's
think
why
the
when people
plan.
say, "Oh, I resonate with that commercial," yeah, no shit, you do. They made it for you.
Yeah. That was specifically made for you.
And the enshittification, as they call it, of AI began today with like the big companies, because Google apparently is now putting ads. They're testing it with certain users. I read like on Gemini. So like it begins now of
Yep.
us. Yeah. So that means like when you search for something, they might favor certain. If you're searching for the best restaurants in the area, it might have been less biased before, but now it literally will just favor certain players, right? So like that sucks.
But do you think we're going to see less like fake news leak its way into reality? Like, you know, the internet has always had those people at the water cooler talking about some kind of crazy thing they read on the internet, and it's like, bro, that's fake. Like that.
But it was cool because
it's
it
from
gave
The
us
Onion,
it gave us
theonion.com. Remember
yeah,
when The Onion would
I
make a video?
believed.
People would believe it.
Yeah, I believed more than one before realizing what I was looking at.
Do you think that AI will have a decrease in people in the real world thinking that what they saw online was real, or do you
Yeah.
think that people in the real world will be more skeptical, or do you
No,
think
that's true.
AI will just have more factual information?
It's hard to say. Like for some people, it's made their delusions worse. So it's literally driven them, in some cases, you might read, into psychosis because it just is a yes man. Like, yeah. So it gets you further down your own little rabbit hole. But on the other side, it's like, no, it's obviously hallucinating a lot more, and people still trust people. Like the more I use it, like I get excited about it when I don't use it for a bit, then I start using it and realizing, like they say, if you're an expert in something, you catch on to how much it hallucinates if you try to talk about that subject. But I guess most people might not be an expert in most things they're chatting to it about. So it just sounds very smart and eloquent.
Dude, I asked ChatGPT to help me build a skateboard from scratch, and it built me a skateboard with links to every part from Amazon.
Sick.
It gave me a grand total of $169.
Nice.
And it even said it would help me with instructional guide to put it all together. I was mind blown.
Yeah. No, I've used it in countless scenarios like that. Yeah. Especially now with like research, if you're willing to wait 20 minutes for your answer.
Oh yeah, it
that current.
hello, young lady. How are you doing?
Aw.
Yeah,
Sorry, my
she's an
niece was
angel.
in here.
Oh, she has a nice voice.
I have like 5 cats running around my house right now, and she wants one.
That's fair. You see, that's what the people really care about. So like I like kind of rage quit crypto, I guess you could call it, but I just had like a mental health crisis like right after I saw you in 2021. I was in the middle of it. I don't
Same,
know
dude.
how.
I took 2 years off. I
Yeah.
went AFK. I lost so much family during the pandemic,
shit.
and all kinds of shit hit all kinds of fans. So we both took a hiatus.
Yeah. And like I just kind of wanted to live, I realized, in the real world, because it is so easy to just live in even just these narratives we're talking
Yeah.
about. Like it's not
It's
real.
all
Like
consuming, dude. It just becomes all you think
Yeah.
about, and that's you see everything through that lens.
there's like a Jason Mraz like lyric in one of the songs, like, I will not worry about the things that won't happen to me. And that like sticks with me. It's like we worry about stuff that is probably not going to happen to us.
Yes.
It's fun for conjecture and to talk about, but I think it's going to be all right. And if it isn't, whatever. I mean, I think about like humanity and the pain and suffering and slavery that has existed for almost all of it. And we've just only known
Traumatized as a
peace.
species, dude. It's going to take like hundreds of years for us to get over shit like that.
Yeah. So like I signed up for Kung Fu like 2 weeks ago because I haven't done martial arts since I was like, yeah, I have the time to do Kung Fu, to teach music, to do this, to do that. And like I'm enjoying my life now. Like doing one thing every single day, crypto, 24-hour, 24/7 basically comments is crazy. Like thinking about it is I did it purposely, right? Because I still like wanted to blow up and I thought I wanted this and I wanted to help the world. It was very idealistic, but I realized like it's true. You kind of above all got to like look out for your family, friends, and close ones. Because when I went through my stuff, there was nobody that I thought would be there in crypto with money who was there for me. Well, maybe like one like follower sent me like $3,000 in Monero when I was like, literally, I was walking down the street in LA giving 20s out to homeless people, like everywhere I went.
Oh,
like,
I know.
I was being crazy. I was acting ridiculous. And then I was blowing money like crazy because I was convinced that it was all going to be worthless or something. I don't know. But like I was just draining funds like insanely. But at the end of the day, it was just like my mom, like who was there for me at the end of it. Like, you know, like came to stay with me, and then my stepdad, and then my family. I was like, damn, it's the people that I kind of ignored for all that time when I was trying to blow up that mattered the most. So like
just
I
because
changed.
they wouldn't listen to the shit we were trying to preach. I dig it.
Yeah, well, because they wouldn't go like obsessive into it
Yeah.
either. Yeah, so like that was our world at the time. So I've been trying to find balance since then. So like Kung Fu, like this idea of like of defense and like, you know, feeling strong. I think like many generations, everybody alive right now has become kind of weak and complacent, at least in the United States. And there's like, we need to become tougher, because I'd still believe that we have to be tougher for those around us, for ourselves, through what possibly could be coming, just in case. And it's not just financial resilience, which is important, but there's like a certain level of character that you have to have as well.
Easy times make weak men, and we've had the easiest time in human history during my lifetime. I may be the weakest fucking man in history because of how easy my life has been because of that. Like
with simulation theory, we chose this because we didn't want to suffer. You wanted a whole shitcoin conference, and you wanted to have resorts and cool clubs, and I just wanted to like
before I logged into the game.
Yep.
That's what fate and destiny is. It's scripted programming of the simulation before we put the quarter in the machine.
Yeah, during my mental health crisis, previously I believed in free will, and then afterwards I've just been like, damn, I was so wrong. It does not exist. But that, in a way, for me, and I'm not preaching it to anybody else, and you can figure out your own, you know, if anybody's watching or whatever, have your own assessments, like research, look into it. Who's that Stanford professor? He has a book about it, actually. But anyway, like it takes away some of this responsibility of I need to be perfect and I need to do everything right. To me, now it's almost like a movie that I'm here to enjoy and to just like watch and witness, and just like, this is fleeting. And I sometimes have those moments. I'm sure you guys do too. Everybody does. It's like,
I've seen that episode of Black Mirror, Bandersnatch, and that hit close.
Was that the first episode of the new season?
No, that's like the movie, the Choose Your Own Adventure movie.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. That was cool.
That when Black Mirror came out with that, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Like, I feel like I've already had 7 lives that I just can't quite remember, because like the Choose Your Own Adventure had to start over again or something.
I was raised with a very unique point of view. Like, my grandfather used to actually say, have zero expectations of anything and you'll never be disappointed.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's how I live. You know, it's like,
you gotta be like water, like Bruce Lee said. Be like,
dude, just go with the flow, like quite literally. And I feel like that's what I've been doing ever since I heard the word Bitcoin. I mean, it just like, I put in a lot of work, but it felt like I was going with the flow. It wasn't swimming against the current. And I feel like a lot of people, they try to be the square peg in a round hole when there's a square hole waiting for you somewhere. You just got to keep looking for it.
Yeah, I thought I was a square peg by like investing in crypto and getting involved in crypto. I thought I was like the square peg, not going with the flow, but it was quite the opposite. It was actually more like water, like you thinking about it now. And so like, I still hear like people trying to incite each other, whether it's bots or real people, like on social media, of like, oh, Trump's doing this. You need to vote. You need to go over here. You need to do that because look what happened in World War II and all this. And I'm like, shut up with the noise, bro. like you're taking away my peace. Like, I just see it differently now. Whereas before I felt like I was more of an insider. Huh?
It's that's what online is now. No one goes online to relax anymore.
Well, it's not
it,
monetizable. There's no money in peace.
yeah, I mean, what I really
within
enjoy
already.
right now is listening to old friggin' what do you call, like, books on tape or shit like that, where you just sit there and you learn something or you listen to something and it's peaceful, it's quiet. And I don't do yoga or anything like that. I have friends who do, who swear by it. And it's really, I think the older you get, the more you value your time and you value your mind a lot more than when you're younger. Because when
Well,
you're younger,
you become aware of mortality at a certain age. You know, when you're young, I remember feeling immortal, like
Oh, yeah.
straight up, like literally there was no, I felt immortal in my 20s, like
Yeah.
literally immortal. And now in my 30s, I have focused on my own mortality, flying more times than I'd care to. And I think that helps that perspective a lot with age, is that value of life that you have. You know, you lose people in 30 years of life that you now can value your own based off losing those people. You survive events and near-death experience. All that adds up. And yeah, I definitely feel you on that, man. I've been there, and especially going through my own mental crisis, bro. Like, I was inpatient and everything, and when I came out, it was like one of those moments where I felt
I went
like
through that, believe
1,000
it or not.
pounds lighter
3
and I
days.
could run.
3 days locked up. They kept me.
A week. I was a week.
I was insane though, like literally and certifiably insane.
Yeah,
for
they hit me with
probably a
psychosis and they
month.
blamed
Yeah,
cannabis.
psychosis.
And I'm like, I haven't smoked all week. I think
Oh, I
that's
got
why
mine
I'm depressed.
from cannabis. I was just like vaping like a water bong like all day.
oh
in LA.
fuck.
It had nothing to do. Yeah, I was just like, eventually I just deleted my channel. It just like spiraled for me. But it was not just that. It was also like doing other stuff in Miami and like for the conference, and then coming back and just really losing it, and like completely. I just remember the ground twisting, distorting, and then I started hearing like voices. It was really weird, to the point that I thought that like maybe I was being targeted, and I really don't know what it was, but it was a super spiritual experience at the end of it.
Wow.
Yeah, I just value it, like that I went through things like that I've gone through, and that's not the first time I've had something, although psychosis it was. But I guess like I could have maybe had a hypomanic bipolar thing earlier when I was like 21.
I feel you though on that, like surviving it and being grateful for every hardship,
Yeah.
man. Every time I've had to walk on fire, it like the whole time I'm on the fire, I'm like, this sucks. But the first step you take onto that wet grass when you make it off those hot coals, you're grateful for the fact that you had to go through that. Like that,
Yeah,
I'm
it
now
changed.
me because of that. And
Yeah,
I
I
like
think
me more
about
now.
exactly. Like I think about the kind of person I was who had just ignored family and friends, and now like
Yep.
I immediately text them back. It's just I've changed, and I was like, what trajectory was I on before I had to go through this huge
Right.
like,
Imagine if you
transformation?
didn't have to go through that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, I think I really would be like a homeless person in LA right now. like no joke, I would be, which is what happened to me when I went through that. I walked 4 days. No, it was like 3 days completely like naked. Like I was convinced that I didn't need clothes through LA, living like a homeless person, freezing at night. And like, I was just gone. I thought that I was like getting messages from God. It was insane. And, yeah, I was like at the Church of Scientology raging at them for thinking that they had some sort of like a secret church underneath, like a Catholic church was being controlled from there. And I was like, it was crazy. It was I had like a million things at once. I was convinced that like fast food places were fronts for pedophiles, like just like constant things and like
Dude,
I thought
so
people were
crap.
trying to kill me. I burned
That too.
$500,000 on the blockchain because I thought somebody was going to come kill me. So I burned
I believe you.
$500,000 publicly.
I thought there was
like,
a sniper
publicly.
pointed at me, like from across the street. So I would close my blinds. One insane deluded night, I unplugged all my electronic devices, convinced that like everything that was given to me had probably something that was tracking me inside of it, and I couldn't trust anything, even if I bought it on Amazon or something. Like if I didn't make it, it was like potentially compromised. Anyway, so like I understand the point of that. Also, is like I understand people now. Like I didn't really grasp tangibly what that was until like I went through that. And now I'm like, oh, now also though, it scares me a little bit. Like if somebody's going through psychosis, I'm like, they're potentially kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Not that I was, but like if I wasn't who I was, I could have easily caused injury to myself or somebody else. And I did. Yeah, I don't know. I could have died. I was walking along Santa Monica on the cliff, like at the top. It was crazy. I was like, this is
It definitely
just
helps
insane.
with empathy, that those moments
Yeah.
where
Yes,
human
exactly.
empathy is important, because you see people that have had like super easy lives and didn't have to walk on many fires, and when they look at other people that are on the fire in the moment, they're judging them instead of
Yeah.
trying to, you know, help them. And it definitely is telling in social groups, especially with my friends, when I'm walking around like in Vegas or whatever, and people are like mocking homeless people like to me openly. Like I'm like, dude, that's not
Messed up.
not a good
Yeah.
look for you as a person. I don't think we can
Yeah.
be friends anymore.
oh,
Yeah,
dude,
100%.
I swear, I remember. I don't remember what conference it was. I walked outside and there's fucking Bozak with like 4 or 5 homeless dudes fucking passing around a joint.
Good shit. Good
Man,
I
shit.
got
just
so
like-
sick, bro. I think I got COVID after that.
Yeah,
I think I remember that. You
Dude,
posted about that.
somebody ran into me at ETH Denver and they were like, yo, this is the guy. And I'm like, I'm what guy? And they were telling their friend, like, that's the guy. I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, you're the dude who snook all the homeless people in the South by Southwest. And I'm like, oh yeah, that was definitely me.
yeah,
I stole like 100 tickets to South by Southwest open bar party. I went down the street and I gave like 100 homeless people tickets to go drink and
That's
eat
so
for free.
funny. That's so
And I got
cool.
uninvited to South by Southwest.
fuck.
Ah,
That is-
it was worth it.
It
You
was
changed their
totally
life.
worth
They're
it.
not gonna forget that shit.
Yeah.
That is fucking Bozak. He was
I
like,
love
you
that.
know what? Fuck it. Let's send in all the homeless people. There's food, there's drinks. Fuck it.
Exactly, dude. I feel like that about every conference I go to. It's like, if you could afford the ticket to get in here, you don't need to know anything that's being said today.
You know, I like you guys because you guys aren't out here to shill. Like, oftentimes there will still be like that shill on the side, like, oh, but check out this company and throwing it in. But I feel like we've had like a really like nice discussion. It was refreshing. Thank you guys for it, like for real.
Oh,
It's
hell,
nice
I
to
being
catch up and
yourself.
talk to you,
appreciate
man.
guys.
Am I going to see you in Vegas? Are you coming out to Blockchain Week the end of May?
My brother is graduating from UCLA in
Oh, good
May.
job. Very well.
Yeah, like in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna be in LA in 2 weeks. I don't know if you'll be around that area, but like I already got
Yeah.
my ticket and everything. Yeah, for real. I'm gonna be there from like the 13th through the 19th. But then I'm out sadly.
Oh, I think I'll be in Toronto for those days.
Oh, yeah. So I might miss you. But yeah, like I
uh,
already bought it before realizing this stuff was happening.
Well,
I'll
congrats to the
actually
bro on the
be-
graduation, man.
Thanks,
He's
bro.
I met him, right?
Law
I'm
school,
a-
yeah. He's taking his bar and stuff. Like
Wow,
great,
good
like
for
he's
him.
yeah, he's gonna be, and he's such a good kid too. Like speaking of homeless, like he showed me like stuff that he was preparing for courts, like amicus briefs and stuff, of looking out for homeless people who are being displaced in different counties. Like they like a homeless dude who literally can't walk, has like a pinched nerve and stuff, ex-veteran, and like they keep telling him he has to move, and he said, well, if the city will help me as they promised. One day he was out doing something and the cops just came and threw all his stuff away, and this had happened to him like 4
man.
times. He has to start over. He can barely move, can't afford healthcare or anything, and like so he has helped in situations like that. And so I'm so happy that I have such a good brother who cares about causes like that, and that's what he wants to get into, not just to defend like greedy corporations, but actually stuff that helps folks, you know. So I'm
Yeah,
excited.
and I've been
His career.
homeless, and it's so hard because the first thing you need to stop being homeless is an ID, and the first thing you
Yeah.
need to get an ID is money,
Is
and the
an
first thing you need
address.
for money is a job, but you need the ID to get the job, and you
Yeah.
need to have a house to put on the resume, so you have an address to get hired, to get the job, to get the money, to get the ID, so you can stop being. It's an
It's a club.
unescapable
It's a club.
scenario.
It's a club, and we can get kicked out of that club too. They say it's a big club, you ain't in it. No, we're in it. Like if you're not homeless on the street, you're part of a club, and you can easily
Yeah.
get kicked out.
Yep.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
All right,
if I
guys.
lose my birth certificate and my social security card, dude, there's almost nothing stopping them. I'd be an undocumented person. They just send me to Venezuela or El Salvador or something.
Guantanamo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guantanamo.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
like Kenn would actually get down there and like take over and all,
Dude,
all
this is
the
why I want to
fucking
interview
military
Ross
would be
Ulbricht so
smoking weed.
bad. I
He's
want
gonna
to
be at the
ask
Bitcoin
Ross about
conference.
prison.
The
I want
Bitcoin
to ask
magazine
Ross,
one.
like, what was the contraband like? Like, did they get weed in jail where he was? Like, because I've
Yeah.
been to jail before, and we definitely had weed. Like, I want to know what his like contraband was like, or if there was guards that like broke rules. There were like, was there a cool guard?
Always.
Yeah, like Charlie
Always.
Shrem talked about a lot of that stuff, but I
That's
feel
what
like
I
Ross.
want Ross to talk about it
I
so
don't think he's
bad.
going to. I feel like he's not going to. Like he was preaching like good stuff to the fellow prisoners and educating and teaching classes. He was a counselor. He was like the ideal good kid. Like that's sadly why I don't see our other friend getting out, Roger, because
Yeah.
I think he does like he is the peg in the round hole sometimes.
Yeah.
And he owns that. But like if he went with the flow a little bit more, I think he would be a little bit happier. Like he didn't have to do that, but he's too much of an idealist, and I feel like that's unfortunately what I think is his downfall.
Not to
if
talk
any.
shit on Roger in
No.
any way. I don't
I wish him
mean
the
it to
best,
come
but-
off, but I think if you look back with some hindsight, I feel like he always wanted to be the martyr. I feel like he's in the position he wanted
Well,
to
he's-
be in 8 years ago.
Of course,
Yeah,
he's
that's
freaking
fair.
Bitcoin Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be remembered throughout history of crypto for 100 years because of this martyrism that occurred. So I think
I
he kind
wonder-
of got what he wanted in a way. Unfortunately,
What happens if we ask ChatGPT who is Roger Ver? Who is does it talk about like the hard
Yeah,
fork and
dude,
stuff?
ChatGPT knows who I am. You could ask Siri who's Kenn Bozak. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, you can ask it me too. But they're like
yeah,
it's
I just
also
think that's so cool.
it
Oh,
is,
dude,
but it's like an
look me
average
up.
though of
It's
what's been
stupid.
it's like an average of what's been on the internet though. So like it forever he might be memorialized as a demon, as like a B casher, right? So I
Yeah.
just want to know.
Ask
like,
it who is Craig Wright.
Fucking fake Toshi.
oh
Yeah,
no,
but I mean, would AI say
Wright.
that Craig Wright is Satoshi because he has so much data on the internet saying that he is Satoshi?
but there was so much data against him saying he wasn't though. Like probably it floods more from other people.
Well,
I would hope so.
It really. Are you using OpenAI or?
Yeah,
are you
no, I'm just using
Chat
right now. I'm on ChatGPT 04 Mini. That was just like the
Okay.
first one I loaded, but it only talks about like his early investment, Bitcoin Jesus, and it talks about his tax issues and citizenship and stuff. It doesn't talk about like Bitcoin Cash fork at all. So he won't be remembered. I think he'll be
Wow.
remembered well, like as a martyr going down for like terrible taxes. Like nobody wants those. So
Yeah.
it looks good for him. Let's see. Who is Craig Wright?
Hey Omar, do you remember this?
Hold on, they switch tabs here. Oh,
dude,
oh man, I should
remember
show
that.
her right now. I can show her this video later. She's out there trying to
Yeah,
stay quiet. She would so appreciate that.
Yes, I remember when she made that.
Yeah, and then like
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
you
one
bought the first
Ethereum,
one.
and I think ETH was like only a couple $100 or something.
Yeah, no, that funded her well. And then I bought a bigger art piece. Like it's like the size, it's like bigger than that one behind you. It's like huge, and I have it over the couch. She was gonna sell it, and I was like, I'm gonna buy it because I want it. Yeah, you got like a miniature version of it. It's beautiful, and she's actually teaching art
for years.
That's beautiful, man. You should frame it or put it up or something.
I definitely got to get it framed.
Yeah.
Hey, we could hang that up at the club.
Oh,
be
definitely. Thank you. Yes. Oh, and shout out to
In
Sergey.
Vegas?
Do what you love. He's going to hook us up with a big painting for the club as well in Vegas. And
Yeah.
I think he agreed to paint the building as the outside wall, Ben.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
And-
cool. I love
Wait.
spaces like that. I just went to Prague. Like I proposed to her, so she's my fiance. I don't know if you know.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Alright.
Yeah. So like in Prague, I took a moment to go to the Institute of Crypto Anarchy and to go hang out over there. They were having a bad day.
How
though,
was
which
that
good.
vibe?
Huh? That vibe?
How
It
was that
good, man.
vibe? What the heck was that even like?
It was dead. It was like a coffee shop that like I think they probably make more money selling coffee there these days and the occasional
yeah.
like conference. It was super cool though. They had like 3 or 4 floors, different rooms to hang out. And in one they had like a little mini digital keyboard because they just let me walk around. I was walking around with one of their Prague beers after buying one downstairs, looking around, and then I was there playing the piano like yeah, this whatever, just having fun. Okay, I'm gonna
Dude,
go
one of
back
my
down.
favorite
Then I see-
memories is you playing the piano, serenading an entire room of people eating on a cruise ship, and John McAfee screaming encore.
I can't believe that happened, right? Like we shared the same
on
piano.
that cruise.
Yeah. Were you
Yeah.
there, Ben? I can't remember.
No,
Oh,
I don't
dang.
like cruises.
No, why?
The fucking Titanic. I don't trust none
Yeah,
of them
they
motherfuckers.
are prisons that float.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, all of the people that were anti-Federal Reserve went down on the Titanic.
Oh, I see what you're
And
saying.
and as soon
They
as
could have
I
got
heard-
Roger. They could have got Tone Vase.
right, they could have
Dude,
got
that's not. Yeah, I worried about
all
that
of
the
you
entire
guys.
time I was
Really?
on the cruise ship, bro. Like, if that cruise ship went down, it was taking 70% of the thought leaders in blockchain.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Thinking about it, I never even considered that. But
Dude, I thought
yeah.
about pirates when I was on the cruise ship. I was like, nothing's stopping a pirate right now from coming up on this boat. Like, nothing. None of us are tough. John, nobody had security. Nobody. John had like 2 ex-Marines, and that was the only people
they
on
were
the ship that
one of them
knew.
was a Navy SEALs, bro. That
Yeah,
guy
that's what it
would've
was. He had
taken
like
out-
Navy
He
SEAls, but
probably
that
had
was
his
it.
guns. He probably would have taken out all the pirates by him. So that guy was a
Oh,
badass.
dude,
I hung out with that
fucking
guy for a
McAfee was
whole night.
wild.
He was like, "I'll kill somebody for you, bro." At the end of it, his like bodyguard. I was like, "No, you don't have to do that." But thank you.
Dude, that
Just
cruise was life-changing, bro. I'm so happy you were on that cruise.
Yeah, me too. Just to, like, remember, like that's wild that happened. Like that. We're
Tony
not gonna
Mays
forget that
getting out
stuff.
of the pool to go fight Roger Veer for Jimmy Song.
Yeah, that was a wild
Heard
afternoon.
about that.
We gotta have another cruise like that. Those of you guys should set up like at some point. Do some sort of cool
I
crypto
still
cruise.
don't know what Coinsbank does or what they did, but they definitely threw a cool party on a cruise ship.
I just threw away the socks. They lasted me forever. So
Dude, my buddy still has the birth control that they gave him, or the Plan B. They gave everybody Plan B on the cruise ship.
because wasn't it something like they had hired like 300 escorts to just walk around or something like that? Like
Yeah.
Russian
Probably
models?
more. Probably more, dude. There was a really good journalist that had an expose on that cruise ship where they interviewed the madam undercover, and I can't remember the article, but there's a really good expose about
Oh, I
that
didn't know
cruise.
that.
And
That's
I
cool. Where did I find
guarantee fucking McAfee had half of them.
Is McAfee alive? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah?
believe he's alive.
Why do you think
You
he's
think
alive?
so?
They never gave up the body. They never wanted to give up the body. He had more than enough money to give anybody he needed to $200 million to disappear.
Yeah.
And where he was, $100 million will get you dead easily. Yeah, sure. Why not? You're
Oh,
dead.
yeah.
Why not? It's that easy, right? And then you just go and live your life somewhere like Hitler
He's
did on
done
a
it
beach.
before. He wore like a wig and glasses forever, so like
Yeah.
pretending to be a woman.
No.
So he can clearly shapeshift.
But he had too much money to not be able to get out of that situation. And the only way he could have gotten out of that situation is by dying.
Yeah.
That's true. Because everyone.
Yeah, he was
went
wanted in
after
4
him, man.
countries, Ben. 4
Yeah.
countries.
I don't
wanted
think
him.
Epstein's dead. I really don't.
Oh, no way. No, there's no way that guy he's actually on an island, not his. But he is somewhere, and they're either gonna bring him out as a witness if shit gets crazy, or they're gonna leverage him somehow.
No, the thing that I'm sitting on, the reason I know both of those men are not deceased is the lack of dead man switches. Both of those men are in positions to have built dead man switches. And if they were indeed dead, we would already know everything that nobody wanted us to know.
Especially McAfee.
Yeah, especially McAfee. I mean, he probably has a dead man switch set up to send it to every news agency on top of every social network.
Yep, written in a smart contract somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, there was like a
His
website,
fault.
but it came to nothing, right? Like it was a dead man switch. He was talking about it like before I think he even passed away, or maybe shortly after.
Yeah,
Nothing
right
happened.
before.
Yeah, and nothing happened.
And he
from
got
it.
the tattoo that said, I won't kill myself or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, isn't that odd?
Yeah,
right, guys, hey.
I just want to stay calm and cool and like just collect Bitcoin and have a good time these days.
And just stay quiet. Already, we've said too much.
Yeah. Hey, I had a great time. You guys are amazing as always.
too, man.
And I appreciate you guys actually coming on, talking shit, talking about old days and new days and IT and all that stuff. And
Before we wrap
will
it up, can we
definitely-
talk about one topic real quick since I have both of you in the room? And this is something I've been talking about to people in person. I just wanted to pick both of your brains on what your thoughts are on crypto providing a reasonable UBI solution because of AI and robotics and stuff like that. Like, do you think that crypto is the solution to a UBI without this like dystopian social credit score?
Yes. And I say yes, and this will be really short and simple. The future, the only thing that will have value in the future is human attention. Everything else will be so cheap because of AI, robotics. Labor is going, there's not going to be a whole lot of labor jobs except labor of, I don't know, like a human rubbing your feet or something like that. So, but houses will be built by robots. Everything will be built by robots. AI, and yes, I think probably the one of the smartest people in cryptos is, oh, I can't remember his name, who actually created the basic attention token, because I think he had the right idea.
Brendan.
Yes, yep. I think he created Java.
Yeah, that's something like fascinating about that, like monetizing attention. Yeah, I think like we've had experiments with that in crypto, but as far as like, and yeah, I would love to see that actually get monetized, but nobody wants to really redistribute wealth. So we do need some sort of like inflationary token or something like that in order to do that. But like it is that balance of like economics to answer your question, which is there's have you guys listened to Mo Gaudat? I think it's by
Yes,
Google.
love him.
Yeah, I love him. So like every time he comes out with a new interview on AI, like I listen to it, but he's obviously tapped into everything like crypto and what's going on. And he basically sees it difficult for UBI to come forward. And I get that. I think like we're going to have to really understand like what is the value of labor? How does that eventually play out? There's going to be politics involved here, plenty of unions, plenty of people who don't want to lose jobs. But like here in Texas right now, I don't know, you saw they're already testing out long haul trucks. So like that's happening. It doesn't matter what you think at the end of the day. But like if we're creating products, there has to be a balance, obviously, between the amount of goods and the people that need them or want them. And how does that get balanced? I don't know, but I don't know a better system than doing it transparently using a cryptocurrency and tracking this. I don't know. I think like it's true that in the at the end of it, it's not going to matter. I think ultimately it'll be utopic if we survive through a tumultuous period of this transition. So it's really a matter of survival, like holding on to your crypto during this time, you spending it wisely, being careful with leverage. Like I learned my lesson putting like $300 the other day in. Like I just got to repeatedly remind myself not to short crypto. Like it's regardless of what you think, but that's like drunk things at night. Just stay away from MetaMask wallet, like drunk at night. Anyway, so I think if we survive, it'll be utopic. We'll have like unlimited, overabundant wealth. We'll be creating energy in ways we would have never imagined. So like already we're seeing that like Bitcoin not being green doesn't matter as much because AI is taking all the power. I think that's also going to be irrelevant when we see the amount of utility that it can derive. I think it's just a matter of us finding like meaning when it comes to like what provides meaning to us and to us individually, what forms of entertainment and human connection will matter, and nurturing those now as we move forward and taking care of each other, just to hopefully see that, right? Like curing disease. I would love for my parents to continue to live forever. And I think that will be possible, but we have to take care of ourselves in the meantime, like our minds. That's a big one. And our bodies, like as much as we can. I want to see it. We've gotten this far, right? I can't believe like we're having this conversation. And what was the last time we chatted back in LA? That was so cool. We did that panel at my house.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, like we've all changed so much, but I think at our nature, we're all still like the same kind of like good person inside. And so, yeah, I thank you so much, Ben, for having us both on. I don't know if you wanted to share some of your thoughts in regards to UBI. I would love to know what you think, Ken, as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do get like what Ben said, but I do worry about AI market manipulation. You know, when you say the price of goods and services may come down, but when it comes to like drop shipping and things like that, AI could just set up a thing to market manipulate the price of toilet paper to $10 per roll, because AI doesn't need to use it. They can sit on it and wait for the price to go up and then sell it. So I do get worried when it comes to like AI having Bitcoin wallets and being able to trade and then go into Amazon and be able to buy and then go to Facebook, make a post and sell. And who is this thing that is now $1 billion company? It's just a bot that just runs a script that sells toilet paper, and that's why toilet paper is $10 a roll. I do worry about that point, But then when it comes to like the attention thing being valued, I do think that is going like the attention is way more valued by a person's attention than an AI's because of it being real world applicable. So I think if we could find IoT to come in, like probably going to have a webcam installed on your television, and instead of paying Netflix $10 a month, Netflix may end up paying you $100 a month, or money might be irrelevant and it's a barter economy, and Netflix just sends you toilet paper for watching Friends.
Yeah, yeah. I hope that we head that kind of direction.
I love how you think, Ken.
Yeah, and I hope that the ones that pay us the best is not like that episode of the recent Black Mirror where it's like he has to torture himself.
The second episode is my biggest fear in reality, where the black guy's riding the bicycle for no reason other than you got to ride the bicycle.
Yeah, that is frightening.
That's a terrifying. That for me, that's my nightmare future.
Yeah.
Well, just not knowing why I'm doing this thing, and I have to do this thing just to eat.
I mean, that's like people at work. So many people that are against what they're doing, but I mean, you're not going to make $100,000 working over here at McDonald's. You're going to have to lie. You're going to have to hide stuff. Like, okay, well, it was an interview I was listening to recently about Ben Bernanke when he was asked like what he thought about what was going on in 2008. In the middle of it, he said, oh, everything seems fine. And then it all crashed down. Now he did an interview last week and he said, well, and he was actually truthful. It was on Peter Schiff's show. He was talking about it recently, one of his recent podcasts. And he said, Ben Bernanke, he said it blew his mind that Ben Bernanke actually spoke candidly, said, to be honest, I was not in a position under that administration who I was working with to speak freely and to actually say the truth. And I think that's what's going on a big level here. But I hope, sure, the truth will be revealed, and for the better. I think like you can only get so far moved from reality and into fiction before it all crashes down into some sort of like mass psychosis, which is I think what we're at. But eventually it'll break. And
for real, that's the consciousness shift, though. Mass psychosis. When it changes to another mass psychosis, it's a consciousness shift. And it's just the way that the majority of people perceive their reality and acknowledge it and abide by that mass agreement, that consensus of the sky is blue. That's what we call blue. That's the color blue. Great. Get with the program, dude.
The dollar is great one. That one is changing, and we're witnessing it. So,
but I think UBI stuff is the start of making money irrelevant. I mentioned it to say that I think Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin in hopes of making the ideology of money obsolete. The concept of currency will be reevaluated, and money itself will be as archaic as pictures drawn on walls for cavemen.
I have said that for years. And God, I love you, Ken. I love how your mind works. Is he actually created something so valuable that it will make everyone eventually and change the system where we are all so rich it no longer matters. Because we're going to reach a point with AI and robotics and friggin' Bitcoin that once it eats up all of the fiat, then it represents real time labor productivity.
Agreed.
And that's when we are free and you live in a society where you're valued because your consciousness has value.
Well, that's why we need UBI to get to that transition. Without UBI on that transition, anybody under the middle class will not make it. Second class, third class citizens will not make it to that paradise utopia that Omar, when he says we, the royal we is the 1%ers that are definitely going to make it to that utopia.
That's why I mentioned Palantir. It's like when you have power, what makes you want to share it? When you have this data, when you can, I don't think the president runs a country at all. Like if you're the NSA, I mean, he just fired the head of the NSA. So I was like, yes, like, imagine what that guy's hiding.
Where did he go to work from here?
I was like, yes.
What if I told you Trump has a program, UBI, except it's universal Bitcoin income?
I mean,
And
Venezuela did it.
this is what he's now. This is about
That would be
10,
powerful, by the way. That would be super
probably
powerful.
10 or
Oh my God!
15
Every homeless person a smartphone. If Trump could put Bitcoin on every Obama phone, that would be a fucking revolution.
This is what's going to happen. Is Trump is creating the infrastructure, because we know Bitcoin is the monetization of pure natural resources, energy. It's pure energy. And that's why Trump has said Bitcoin is the new oil. What he's going to set up is a social security UBI system that resembles Alaska, except instead of oil profits, it will be the profits that the U.S. government makes off of the mining of the Bitcoin.
I hope
And
that's true. I really do.
Easily replace income tax with that. Just
Bingo.
abolish income tax and replace copy paste.
That's what's coming, guys. Universal Bitcoin income. Watch for it in about 2 years and 9 months.
All right, you just got to survive 2 years and 9 months. And
No,
it'll be
I
good
believe it.
times.
I
It'll
do
be
believe it
interesting.
because
Yeah.
it's the only practical route to take with the technology that we have. Otherwise, I mean, it's just if they don't start to contribute, it's just going to get more chaotic. And I don't think anybody could afford for this to get more chaotic after FTX
Yeah.
and everything else. It just we can't afford it. Yeah. BitConnect 2.0 with government edition.
I think we're
Yeah.
just tired of charlatans like Big Connect. No
Yes.
offense
Government
to Carlos, because I
GovConnect.
love
When
Carlos.
pump.gov, Omar. When pump.gov.
Pump.gov. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is pump.gov. It stocks.
Yeah.
Shit.
I don't know. When like real, I don't know, like when real like attention, not like, I mean, like, I think that's interesting though, because like attention, is somebody's attention worth more than somebody else's attention? And I don't think
Yes.
we've really done that yet. I don't think there's a platform that is doing things to that
Oh,
level.
no.
But
Look
like,
at
is your
YouTube.
attention worth as much as Elon Musk?
When your show was one of the only shows out there, all of everyone who watched your show valued your attention.
Yeah.
And that's
It's like that. Yeah.
because you had influence over our attention.
Right. And that's kind of powerful. Yeah.
Yep,
I saw it with like Kenn. Like I remember going to like Shitcoin conference and I was like, this is crazy. Like before people stayed away from Kenn, and now he has like a circle around him. I can't even talk to Kenn right now.
I know.
I feel like I feel so special just being able to talk to Kenn. like that's wild. And it changes. Like, you know, I don't believe in holding on to things like that. I think like enjoy that spotlight like while you have it. It's nice. I learned to hate it. Like I got robbed at gunpoint in Vegas. I
remember that.
Got hacked. Yeah, I got hacked. Somebody ran like a password, like just ran millions of passwords through my accounts until they got into one. It's just like I realized I don't want to be a target. Like, but if you're in the spotlight, that's the martyrdom, right? And I wasn't aware, I guess, of what I was doing, or I thought I vaguely was aware conceptually until I experienced it. And I'm like, no, I do not want to be Justin Bieber. I don't.
Satoshi tried to tell us when he wouldn't tell us who he really was. Like we all like, if I could go back in time and tell myself anything, it would be anonymous. Like not synonymous, be anonymous, bro.
I just like what I've been saying is that there's something about crypto that has been like, you do your thing, you do your big thing, you play your part, and then you get out. Like Andreas Antonopoulos, like Trace Mayer, even though he's making a comeback, Satoshi, like you do something good to help it, and then you just peace out. And you don't overstay your welcome.
Andreas was the perfect example.
Oh, he's out.
Yeah.
He's out.
I think Trace is speaking again soon, even though he disappeared.
Yes,
I ran into Trace not too long ago, and
I'm glad he's alive. I knew nothing. I was like, anything could have happened. Anybody could get hit by a car at any time. So it's like, who knows? Yeah. What was that like?
No, it was also, I was just asking him what his thoughts were on like shitcoins and stuff, and he was basically said the same thing. You know, it's just ICOs kind of all over again, except it's a cheaper entry point. It used to cost $100,000 to do an ICO. Now it's $10, and
yeah.
so and he just validated my thoughts on Solana as a whole. I'm like, Solana's going to have its Ethereum moment because of the diluted market cap of all those like tokens, the sub tokens. If ETH didn't have the ICOs, it would be where Bitcoin is right now in market cap value. It just got diluted out because everybody wanted to build on it.
So you're saying that Solana is going to do badly?
No, I think it's going to do very well because of all the shitcoins are going to do badly. I think all that market cap has nowhere to go but back into Solana.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got hundreds of market caps at hundreds of millions of dollars each, and are all actual shit coins.
But we saw the opposite with like ICOs, where instead they held like in the treasury for the next bear market and sold. Like,
well, they were actually building things. That's why I'm saying these are shit coins with no roadmap. They're not building nothing. They don't have anything coming soon.
They don't have to hold any funds.
No, they don't.
Sell daily.
That's why I mean this is so different for Solana. I'm actually excited for Sol price because the next year I think we're going to see, by the end of this year, I think it's easily going to be $1,000.
That's fair. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that stuff.
Yeah, hell, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I have to run. I appreciate you guys, and let's actually do this in the future, and we'll hang out and fucking chit chat. And
yeah, I love it. We were having such a good time that we officially started ending, I think, 45 minutes ago.
Oh, I know.
I love when that happens. That's like how you know that they're having a great time, and usually that resonates with the audience too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a great chat, guys. I love you both. Have a day, bros.
Love you too,
all right, guys.
bro.
Love you.
Take care. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.